All right, guys, this is episode 8 of The Exchange. 8, right? Not 7?
Yeah,
8. And today we got a guest. Not only a guest, a brother of mine for, I don't know, man, 30 years now, I would say? No, not quite 30.
Not quite 30.
25 for sure.
1990.
90.
So that'll be 30 years
30
in
years.
2020.
Yeah.
That's crazy,
Shit,
man.
man.
Where'd the time go?
I seen those photos that you guys were posting yesterday, right? I was like, holy shit, this is how Junior looked.
Super history, man.
So, for my community, let them know what you do.
Okay, so my name is Junior Bally. Well, Savinder Bally is my real name. I'm a DJ and I'm a music producer. I recently took a payout from my day job, which was I used to pretty much run a Safeway in my neighborhood in the evening, every evening, and I got to the point financially where I didn't need to do both jobs anymore full time, and I decided to pursue my dream, which was becoming a music producer, and continue on with my DJing, which is a very good source of income. Yeah, what I do is like I create music, and I'm trying to make that one hit record, man, you know. So right now it's slowly coming into fruition, and I'm connecting myself with the right artists and some of the right people. So it's just, you know, it's all a matter of being persistent and not stopping, because you can't stop, because if you stop, you're gonna get left behind.
So when you went for the 9 to 5 or the evening, whatever it is, I always called when you work for somebody else 9 to 5.
Work for somebody else.
How was it hard?
No, because, you know, like, it was like one of those jobs that kind of just like, and it's funny because it's for Safeway, so everybody knows, you know, Safeway, and I ended up I got an interview, and their office used to be on Canby Street. Yeah. So I went there, and at that point, it was at the end of I guess grade 12, and I just wanted to kind of get a job.
So end of grade 12 meaning 1995?
1995, yeah. Yep. And so I had an interview, and the lady was actually, she was really kind of blown away by our conversation, because it wasn't really even an interview. In those days, Safeway, you had to go through an interview, you'd have to go through an aptitude test, all kinds of stuff, right? Because they paid well, right? You know, good union job or whatever. Anyway, so she offered me a job to actually work in the head office instead of, you know, working in the grocery store. And I went for an interview with the lady for that. Only thing was, I didn't have any clerical skills, right? Because they're going to give me like the entry position job, right? So I said, I go, yeah, but I didn't get it, which is a blessing, because they actually shut the head office down and downsized and moved the office to Fraser Marine. Yeah. So I would have got replaced anyways, and I would have got placed into a store, but she was like, okay, well, we'll put you, what store do you want to work at? And I go, the one that's like a block away from my house, and that was it. So I kind of got sucked in there, because I started, I was making like $22 an hour in like 97, right? You know, unless you're a tradesman or that was
good money,
really good money, right? So I just stuck with it to the point where I'm like, oh my God, you know, I don't want to spend, you know, I'll get there, I'll do 10 years and then I'll quit, right? And I'm like, okay, well, I kind of started a business then with my DJ company, my first one, and then I'm like, okay, well, both things are going good, and I was making really decent income at that time, so I stuck around. But by the time year 20 came, I was just like, I got to get out of here. Yeah. And, you know, by the grace of whatever powers there were, they offered a buyout, a payout, an early bridge package to people that were ready to go, so I was ready to go.
So what stopped you 10 years ago?
Sorry, say again?
What stopped you 10 years ago?
What stopped me from leaving?
10 years ago.
Just the security of what I was doing, right? Like, at that point, like, I didn't have a recording studio. I didn't have, you know, my other thing was DJing. And at that point, I was doing a few nightclub nights, and I was doing, and I had just started a DJ business. And so the business was doing good. I mean, for two people that were kind of, you know, running it together. And I just wasn't financially secure at that point. I didn't want to take a risk, because at that time I kind of was the the bread, bringing home the bread for the family, right? My father had a business and it went kind of belly up, right? But it was like he was making like 35 grand a month at that time, gross. But we lost 2 big contracts, and then it was like, shoot, I got to make sure that the money's coming in.
Yeah.
Otherwise, the house is going to go, right? So that was kind of a priority. So that's why I stayed.
More on the financial side. And
Yeah,
you got it,
exactly. Yeah.
And then, how'd you get into DJing?
Oh man, it's hard to explain. You know how we all have that person we look up to growing up.
Yeah.
For me, it was my mom's brother.
Yeah.
My mom it was 6 sisters and a brother, and he was the youngest, and he was into cars like crazy. He was into music, stereos, Kiss, and
So everything you're into, that.
that's basically yeah. Whatever he was into, I was into. So I just fell in love with stereo equipment, and and buying vinyl records, and then I'd watch him DJ, but he wasn't a DJ. He would just play music at weddings and stuff, and I would just watch, and I'm just like, whatever he does, I want to do. Like, he was just like my idol, right? And then I just kind of tried to do, like, I was doing little elementary dances here and there, and then next thing you know, I get into high school. Met Pernille Prasad, Alvin Ram. We kind of merged together and started DJing together, and we did a few dances at school, and it just kind of went from there. And then, like most DJs, any DJ will tell you this story. When they watched the movie Juice, it was a movie about DJing, or the main character, anyways. And after that, I was like, it just blew my brain, right?
Deuce.
Yeah. Deuce and Q. Tupac was in that. That was like Tupac's first movie. So it was a monumental, like, probably not just obviously 100% not for me, but probably 50,000 other DJs out there, right? That was kind of like that movie, just like probably Scarface was to a bunch of drug dealers,
yeah.
Right? So I just I literally got my dad to buy me a mixer from Radio Shack. And I had an old turntable in my bedroom, and then I took the home turntable from the home stereo, connected it all together, and I just started messing around.
So do you remember taking that into a business? Like first client, not even business, like how'd you start actually making money? Or like
I was probably 14 when I made my first DJ dollar. Because I DJ'd my cousin's 16th birthday, and people were like, oh, wow, he can actually, it was a trip. And I did my first wedding when I was like 14 or 15 years old. And then there's a Fiji Canada club that used to throw dances at a Legion Hall. And, the sisters would be like, oh, Junior can DJ. And it was like, we're like 14, 15 years old, right? And I had no driver's license, no nothing. My dad had a cleaning company, so he would... I go, hey, can you help us go rent? I need to go rent some speakers, blah, blah, blah. We go rent some speakers, rent an amplifier. We put our equipment together, and the person throwing the event only would pay us $150. So after rentals, the two of us split about $25 each.
That's when you learn, huh? Learn about income and expenses.
Well, yeah,
that's like the best way of learning.
It was crazy, and even like age 15, then school dance. The school's like, yo, you can DJ our dance, and they paid us $1,000.
The school's paying $1,000
for the dance. Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, that was grade 10.
Yeah.
Okay, so I was about 15. Still no license, but we had to rent a lot of equipment, speakers, lights, everything. We didn't have no speakers. We didn't have no lights. All we had was a mixer, 2 turntables.
Man, my tax dollars are going to you, huh?
This is like child labor. Anyways, by the end of that, we ended up having to pay like $600 in rentals, and but then we're like, oh shoot, the three of us just split $400.
Yeah.
Right?
When you're that age, that's a lot, man.
Yeah.
Right. When you're just starting, and
I mean, it's we've grown up working our whole lives. Like I had a paper out when I was 12 or something. Even before that, I used to clean for my dad's cleaning company in the summer, but I never got paid. And then I started getting, and then in the summer of grade 9, when I
you don't get paid if your dad's company, if your dad's company.
And it's funny because me and my cousin, just around the corner here, there's a place called the Bombay Bicycle Club next to the Holiday Inn. So there's 2 pubs there. So me and my cousin were given that job. Yeah. So we used to clean there every summer. And at that time, I think my dad paid me $12 an hour, so that was okay at that time. But all it did was just build a foundation of character and you know, put a good skin on your.
That's all it does, man.
That's all it did.
That's all it does. So, how'd you transition from DJ to music producer?
That just kind of you know, it was a fluke and a blessing, kind of.
Just doors opened up, or?
Yeah, well, the thing was, I was already like a staple doing like hip hop shows, right, and being a DJ in the hip hop scene in this city. I used to DJ for a rap group called CIA. I'm pretty sure like Vic Rodriguez, you know them. Like, so like that. He's like my OG. Like he's like my big brother, and like, you know, their DJ kind of went out. He started a family like really young age, and so he didn't want to be a part of the group anymore. So they asked me, because I was kind of like the next guy in line, I guess, being from the neighborhood, and so I started DJing, doing the shows, and you know, just scratching during the performances, and just being like a hype man behind on the mic. And I went to studios all the time, but I mean, I was very intimidated by computers, and because that's kind of where it all went, and it was just like something that was like, I thought it would take years and years and years to learn, right? But one day I was working at Safeway, and a young guy named Alvin Reddy, well, not young guy, a couple of years younger than me, he would come to the store and say, look, I got this studio I built in my house, and it's really nice, and you know, you gotta come check it out. And I was just like, I would kind of brush it off all the time, because I was like, yeah, it's not for me. I'm not in that, you know, like I'm a DJ, right? And one day finally, after work, I went there. Like, he's only like 2 blocks away from my place. And so I went, and he converted this garage into like a cool little studio, right? He had an editing section and a beat making section and a recording booth. This is all French to me. I sat down, and so I'm like, okay. So then I just started. He just wanted me to hang out and just check it out, and I figured out how to make a drum pattern on the computer, and that was it. Right there. It changed my life forever.
And just practice after that.
I would go there every night after work, like, and be there till like because I'd get off at 12. I'd go there till about 3:30, 4 in the morning. And it took me a week to kind of put together my first little composition, little beat. And then, you know, then the next one came a couple days later, then the next one came, and it just became, then I kind of figured it out at that point. And that was it. That was like, honestly, that was only like 2012, 2013. 2013.
6 years ago.
2013, yeah. Yeah, 2013.
So from that point to starting your own studio,
Mm-hmm.
how long did that take?
It didn't take long, because I really was, you know, man, can you imagine like something just brightens up and you just stare at, and you know, it just completely changes your whole thought process.
I can't sleep at night. Days like that.
Yeah, that's what happened. And so the thing with me was all I knew how to do was kind of make a little beat here and there. So I was really wanting to progress. I really wanted to move forward and get on with it. And I would record. I would do vocals in another friend's recording space, Stroker DeLuca, and it ended up like I would have to pay for all the time being there. So I was like, okay. And then the guys that I was, you know, the original studio, I started learning how to make beats. I was like, unfortunately, moving at a really quick pace, and they weren't, right? So I couldn't wait up anymore. So I go, I'm gonna, you know, and plus it wasn't my own space. It was like, you know, so I just slowly built a little place in the back of my house, and then you know, the guy that kind of put everything together over at that studio, you know, his name is Rich City. Anyways, that's what he goes by. I ended up just building a small little station, keyboard, and some speakers just to make some more beats. And then and I'm going back and forth. So I let other people hear my beats, like other rappers that I knew, and I'm like, oh, I'd love to do something with that. Oh, I'd love to do something with that. And so then we started recording at other buddy's studio that had a recording booth, and so did the original one, but I had no control over anything, right? So I had to kind of be like, okay, I can make beats now. Maybe I should start learning how to record vocals and doing all that. So around that time, 2013, 2014, I decided to do put a little vocal section in my little studio. And my studio is nothing, to tell you the truth. It's what comes out of it that's more important than anything.
Yeah.
Right? So that was it. It was kind of like, it was just a process. It's like, oh man, all of a sudden I messaged like Mad Child from the Solar members and blah, 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 and other rappers. And I'm like, hey, I got some songs. You want to jump on it? And they're like, cool. Mad Child, obviously being a platinum artist, is going to charge for his services. No problem with that. That's, we all got to charge for our services. And once I got him, I go, I have to like really, focus on this. And at that time is when I came to that fork to leave my day job, and I go, and I'm DJing all the time. That's never gonna go away. But the production, it was like, okay, Safeway or production, right? Union job or passion. That was it, and that's how it kind of came into.
How'd you start reaching out to these guys?
Well, I've done shows with a lot of people, right? Like, say Mad Child, for instance. We've done a lot of shows with Solar members when I was with CIA. We probably did maybe half a dozen for sure. We opened up with them for Snoop. We've done a couple of private functions. Can't really mention the clients.
Yeah, no, it's all good. Yeah.
But like we did a lot of shows with them, and so he kind of knew of me because of that, so that was easy. And then this No Borders record, Instagram was a big shoot, I should have brought the first project, but Instagram is a big way to connect with artists.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And so I reached out to Be Legit, one of E40's, like, E40's cousin, and, part of the, the guy's a legend. Sally Cell, all Rapid Forte.
So all through social media. All
through Instagram, yeah. And Dub C, I reached out to him. He was the first person I reached out to, and I talked to his manager, and we made it happen. But yeah, Instagram really helped that out, like, because I mean, you can DM people personally, right? Some people don't even like. Be Legit responded to my comment that I made on his post, and this is when he only had he had like, I think 30,000 followers, right? Now he's probably 250. I don't even know, but as soon as I mentioned our history with him, because with back in the days, early 2000s, we had a guy, Slick J, John Rogers. He started a record label, and he brought a lot of these guys down to record with some of the guys, right? Unfortunately, he passed away, but just because I mentioned his name to Be Legit, he actually said, hey, he was my guy, let's work. And it just went from there. So as soon as you get one person, then it snowballs.
That's all. It's in any business. Once you get one, and then the next one is a little easier, and then referrals start coming in. Dylan, we got questions? So
Sure, yeah.
on the exchange episode, we actually do a lot of Q&A.
Yeah.
So Dylan's got some questions that we got off of social media. That
The
we'll
exchange. Because remember,
answer.
so when did...
So you know what? You said it first because I wanted that name.
Bottom
it was
line?
The bottom line.
Yeah.
I said that before. Like, I don't know how that came up. And then I texted a few people, and then you responded back a bottom line. I'm like, man, this is it.
Yeah.
This is it, right? Like,
Yeah.
this is the second person, or at that time, I think it was the third person that said it.
Yeah.
It wasn't even on the list. And then it wasn't until we had Dylan here, a couple other guys, that we sat here. And the reason we chose Exchange was, bottom line is me.
Yeah.
I'm straight to the point. There's no bullshit. Like straight up, right?
No, I see. We're exchanging right now.
We're exchanging. That's what we want. That's what I wanted. It was about other people, not about me.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And that's what we want with Exchange.
I will start off just kind of broad here. Who's your favorite artist right now from Emily?
My musical artist favorite? I have to say E40. Oh, because?
No, because I'm actually thinking about mine. Khaled, DJ Khaled, right now. And then Nipsey, after he passed away. When I started to learn and read more about him.
Insane. It doesn't make sense why like a person like that would get taken. I listened to some Nipsey music. Like I have some of it like in my playlist. But man,
that guy's a beast, man. Was a beast. Holy smokes!
Well, if you look at the people, like say Gary Vee, like you know, a person that you look up to, had so much love and admiration for him, for a reason.
Well, forget him. Like you look at the whole industry when he passed away. Sure, his following wasn't big. A lot of people didn't know him, but the hearts he touched, the minds he touched. L.A. I know a lot of people in Los Angeles.
What he was about was more than his music.
Yeah,
that's what it was.
The lifestyle,
right? And
positive gratitude.
He was like a real Robin Hood.
Yeah,
he was a real Robin Hood, man.
His music's unreal. Next, Dylan, what do you got?
How would you get a loan for musical instruments or a studio, and should you?
A loan?
Yeah. So, like, maybe say even, like, renting...
Okay, well, that's a really great thing you just asked, because being in this country, in this province, you don't have to get loans. They will give you money to start a studio or start something.
Like, you mean art. Like grants?
Grants,
okay, government grants, yeah.
So, my studio is a part of Creative BC, and is an approved facility for artists to get funding for studio time. It's in the career development program. So all you got to do is, when you need money to record and you mention my studio, you're good. You just have to show that you're willing to put in the work. And they put up half of the money of whatever I would charge for studio time. In terms of loans for starting a studio, it all depends on the size of studio you want to put together. My studio startup cost was probably, I bought 2 screens. I had a mother, like the motherboard or whatever you call it, built for like $700. I bought a few monitors. Like the monitors I bought weren't cheap, weren't expensive, but you could buy, you can get a nice studio, simple setup started at about $1,000.
That's it, huh?
That's it. I probably started about maybe a couple grand.
Yeah.
Right? And then I started upgrading stuff, right? Better microphone, we have interfaces and compressors. All I do is vocals, right? Last week we did a saxophone session on a song, and that turned out pretty cool.
This is interesting because Dylan and I had this conversation a little while ago. When we get out of this office, and the next office we'll get into, we're definitely going to be putting in a studio, right? For our stuff, because we do obviously a lot of voice and a lot of recording things, but also for we can even rent that room out for podcasting or whatever to others. Anything. Or just even give it away. Like, hey guys, if you ever want, just come on in and use the equipment. Yeah. But it adds so much value to us, especially the amount of times that we're using it. I'm not a big fan of getting loans yet. I'm in the mortgage business, but I'm not a fan of getting into debt to go buy something. I rather rent and use somebody else's equipment. And I didn't even know about grants. So if you have grants, and I'm not sure what it is in the U.S., but I would definitely be checking and
they don't have grants in the States.
They don't have grants, but they probably have something else there.
I know. I actually talked to a good friend of mine. And he's on E40's record label, and he's one of his and I told him about it, and he was blown away because what they give you money, it's different. It's different here than it is in the States, right? Like the reason why they give out grants and the reason why they do certain things is they want the artists to be loyal to Canada, right? You have a lot of artists that kind of jump ship as soon as there's a few
It's
guys.
a bigger market.
No,
Right.
definitely go out there and do what you got to do out there, but you got to bring it back, right? You got to bring it back to and you could become something even bigger. Like look at Drake, for instance. Drake lets everybody know he's from Toronto. He lets everybody know he's a Canadian. He lets everybody know, and now he's the ambassador. He's the Don of Toronto. He's got more weight than the mayor of Toronto, 100%. So imagine if more Canadians that did something good in arts.
I agree. Yeah.
You know how Saskatchewan has probably a shit ton of good artists. I can't off the top of my head know who's good from Saskatchewan, but it doesn't matter the genre of music. But like, look at Sarah McLachlan. I mean, Sarah McLachlan is awesome because she has a music school program here that a friend of mine did the sound for. But you really have to, if you bring it back, you're gonna last longer.
Yeah, but
Your day ones are going to be there.
You're bringing it back home, right? That's where it all began. My question to you is, what's the biggest culture right now for hip hop? Where? Yeah.
It's hard to say, man. Like you can't pinpoint it. Like right now, I think like LA's kind of coming back. It's not like before.
No, before it was like LA and New York.
Before it was like then the South.
South has been coming up.
At one point the South was the shit.
Oh yeah,
right, with the Little Johns and the JDs and the
last 15 years. I think the South has been there. Atlanta,
and at one point it was like the Nas and the Gangstar and the Bad Boy, and then you got Death Row and you got the Bay Area. It was weird. I remember that growing up, early mid '90s till about pretty much until about the time that Tupac died. The West was dominant.
Yeah.
100% dominant. And then when Pac died, then it was kind of like the down south kind of took over the crunk sound and that south sound kind of took over. Now I just like there's no region where I would put it on. Right? Hip hop is too big now. Mm-hmm. It's mainstream, right? So you can't really pinpoint it to regions or anything.
It's the anchor music today, in my personal opinion.
Yeah,
right.
And that's the cool thing now because like before I was like considered the black sheep of the music industry, and now it is the music industry.
Yeah,
rock and roll is dead, unfortunately. Mm-hmm. And I grew up on rock music, but it seems like rock and roll music is nobody plays instruments anymore. But I think the next generation is going to come back because I saw a bunch of kids, three young kids, covering Metallica, Motorhead. They're doing all their songs, and this little young Asian kid, he was playing the bass and he was a lead guitarist, and this other kid playing the guitar, and then I was just blown away that
like on YouTube or like
no I did it like I did an event with the city.
Oh, got it.
And they were like one of the main performers at this community center outdoor event, and I was blown away. So you know what, the generation, the next generation
will change.
They're gonna bring it back. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's like a cycle.
Oh, it always is. Every industry got a cycle.
Where can you find music producers to make your instrumentals?
Where can you find them? Oh my gosh. There's so many websites. YouTube is crazy. I mean, all these artists that I work with that don't want to buy a beat will just say, oh yeah, they'll send me a YouTube link of this blah, blah, blah type beat. And so YouTube is easy for free beats. And they get tagged by the producer. So they'll be like, like, blah, 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 blah. Da-da-da on the beat, right? It just like goes throughout the beat. But there's so many sites where you can get instrumentals from. There's BeatStars is one of them, which is I'm gonna start an account with that as soon as this summer's over.
I'm just gonna ask you, are you on any of those sites?
No. What I do is when I'm in my studio and I'll just go on a tear and make like 10 different beats in like an hour or two, maybe two, and then I just put like 15-second snippets of each one on my Instagram story and just title it whatever name that beat is. I usually get, some artists hit me up and be like, yo, I like that beat. Locals, even some from the States. But yeah, I haven't had the need to like advertise yet or put them on sites. Once I do that, I think it'll change it'll change the game for me.
I think so, for sure. What gets you into that mindset where I'm creative, I gotta go? Like, is there anything that triggers it? Do you hear something? Do you just get the
sounds.
vibe?
You hear sounds. Like, what I do is I'll go through my catalog of sound samples, or I'll just go through my power synth, and I'll just find a sound, and I just start to create. Like, if something just comes to me, it comes quick, but sometimes you get lost quick.
No, I get that, but like, what do you need to be in a certain mood? Do you like what happens? Like for me, for instance, I come into the office on Saturday because it's the day where I can just nail anything. I can get everything done. Nobody's in here. It's peaceful. It's quiet. And I get more done in those 4 or 5 hours than I can do in a week.
Yeah.
Right? It's just total focus.
I have to clear my mind.
Yeah.
I have to clear my mind, and it's just me, the speakers, the keyboard, and the screens, right? I don't, once I get the ball rolling, it just keeps going. But sometimes, like I said, I have to be in that zone. And recently, I haven't been, just because it's a busy time for me with doing corporate and wedding functions and stuff. So I like to kind of I need to take, like, you have to have a clear mind.
Yeah, for sure.
Right? You can't be creative when you got all this clutter in your head, So I'm definitely that's where it is. It's like, and you hear a sound. Sometimes, like, if I get inspiration from another song, I can kind of put my own spin on it and recreate it. Not copy it, but recreate it and turn it into something of my own. And I do that too. But it's a matter of, you just got to kind of shut the outside world out and just focus.
Concentrate and focus on
and
that.
Just get into it, right? And that's where it goes from there.
I was reading about Dre, and there was one day he won like 48 hours just in the studio.
Yeah.
Because things just started popping.
Yeah.
And just one after another.
That's the thing, man. Like, yeah. Like, I think I've done, like, the most I've probably ever done is probably about 8 hours, with a few breaks here and there. If you could do 48 hours, man.
I might be mistaken. It might have been like 36 or something, but it was up there. It was like it was more than 24. It was like, it was a full day and then more.
You need to be inspired, right? That's the thing. You have to have like something to, like, when I got work with a bunch of artists, so like when I create something, like sometimes I think about them. I'm like, okay, I should make something that he might like, or something that she might like, right? And then, hey, I had you in mind for this, so what do you think? And like 8 out of 10 times, like, oh, that's beautiful, I love it, I'll take it, right? And then we'll just work out a deal with the beat and the recording, and yeah, I mean, inspiration comes from all different places.
For sure.
Yeah.
What do you got?
How much money do you need to market your music?
I just cleared I'll be getting my third check-in from my digital distribution. And how much money did I put into the advertising? My last 2 projects, I put 0. My second and my first. My second one, it cost a lot of money because I had a lot of features on it. And I went to Oakland and did video footage with Rappin' Forte and Selly Cell, and Dubsy was in Vancouver. So you can do the paid ads and do the targeted paid ads, but there's so many other routes that you can take where you don't have to spend an arm and a leg to get people to hear your music, right?
What are those?
Well, social media, obviously Facebook, there's so many pages out there. Now the pages are getting saturated.
They are.
But like Instagram, you could paste links here and there, but I think what was most successful for me is when I actually, private message people on Facebook and be like, hey, look, this is the project, this is what I'm doing, these are the artists on there. You should take a listen, and maybe we could work together. Just throw something out there for them too, right? And it kind of worked, man. Like, and the other thing, we all have friends. You don't have to spend a nickel now to support your friend, right? I messaged maybe 150 people on WhatsApp, and I told them, hey guys, I'll go, take a listen to my music. You're my friend. Blah 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 blah. Here's the 4 links for my 4 projects. Make a playlist. Play it, when you're just chilling. Play it wherever, and shoot, like it shot my numbers up crazy. Sometimes you gotta personalize your connection, right? You gotta reach out. If you can reach out to one person at a time, and you do that 20 people a day, that's 100 a week, right? Do the math. If how many people will be like, hey, no problem, right? Then it's easy. It doesn't cost them a nickel. If you got a premium service like Spotify Premium or whatever, Deezer Premium or whatever, I think you get more per stream. But end of the day, you want more people to listen. I don't give a crap about the dollar. I want to hear more people. I want to see more people listen to what I'm putting out there, right? I see my stats. I got tons of listeners in Japan, UK, Australia.
And you don't want to run like Facebook ads towards them?
I do. I have. I just
think that, like, for scale, right? I'm a big fan of organic reach and reaching out to my niche, or no, not my niche, but my people, my community right now. But to hit scale, I would definitely want to run that.
More paid ads, yeah.
More paid ads, yeah. That or influencer marketing, or reach out to a vlog or a podcast to play that before or after. So I think that's those are other great ways for somebody that wants to grow. Not just the music industry, but pretty much
any business.
Any business.
Yeah.
I mean, these are things that we've been testing here,
yeah.
And we know the things that work, and the things that we need to learn more about.
Yeah.
Just by running ads.
I think I got a new project that I'm working on right now. I think this one, I really love the quality of it. So I got this project coming out, which I recorded in Vegas, and I was really, really happy with the way it all turned out. It's not done yet. We're gonna do a few more things I gotta do a few more things to tweak it out. But this one, I'm definitely gonna do some paid ads for, and gonna actually go down to Sacktown and shoot a video with about 4 or 5 different artists. You got to be aggressive sometimes, right?
Especially in the beginning. Look at Khaled.
Yeah.
Every record comes out, man. That guy's just promoting the hell out of that thing before it even starts.
Yeah.
Right, and he continues going.
No, he's a
machine.
He's a very smart man.
Yeah.
He's like he's a very motivated person, and he's
got a good.
That's why so many people want to work with him. Like, I think he surpasses Puff Daddy by a million miles. I think.
Yeah, and he was.
Yeah.
He was a beast.
I think Jay-Z, 50 Cent, and
Jay-Z's different. Jay-Z's he's a business guy. He's
he's
the Buffett
like,
type.
But I mean, Khaled could become Jay-Z.
Oh yeah.
Just because Jay-Z started rapping. Da 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 da. I mean, Khaled's he's in the same boat.
Yeah.
Right. Diddy's in the same boat too, and he's doing his thing. I mean, 50 Cent kind of lucked out with his vitamin water deal, right?
But I think most that make it big in that in music is outside of music. It's the sponsorship, or it's the investments that they make.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, but mind you, like guys like Drake that hit like billions of streams are fucking killing it just on that end, right? It's just like, it's crazy to think that, and that's all it takes, man.
He knows his audience. He knows how to reach them, and he's been doing it through the Raptors games and pretty much anything he gets involved in.
Who's your favorite basketball team?
I
You were, you know who you're reminding me of actually when we used to play basketball? Parrish.
Oh.
he was Sunil was like one of those guys you just did not want to mess with, man. On the basketball court, like he was just like he had that face,
spaz, man.
Yeah,
mad. I got thrown on a lot of games.
Yeah,
I'm competitive with sports.
Yeah, man.
I get competitive now watching it, right? So I gotta turn off sports, man, when I'm watching it. Or I can't watch it with other people. I'm ready to fight.
I was the same way, man. I couldn't watch a lot of the Raptors games, but I was happy the ones that I didn't watch that they won.
I'm not a team. For me, it's more the player.
Yeah.
But I stopped watching basketball about 10, 15 years ago.
Yeah.
Right? Even more than that, when Johnson and Bird and Jordan and all
that was
those
a great
guys were
time.
out. Yeah, the 80s and 90s. That was it. I just enjoyed it then. And after that, when Kobe started coming in and Shaq was there, it wasn't fun anymore.
Yeah, it's not a physical game anymore. It's like you can't
now,
put a pinky on anybody.
I think now with Giannis there and Zion coming in, I think it's another wave.
It'll get exciting again. Yeah, it's still pretty exciting. I mean, I prefer it right now over hockey because hockey is just boring to me.
You know what? I never got into hockey.
Yeah, I know.
The only reason I got into it is because I was in Canada and everyone else was watching it, but I just find it very boring to watch.
Oh.
It's just I got with what 3,000 games a year, whatever they have, right? Not quite like 80, but it's just a little too long. I like football. It's 16 games, Sundays. You got Monday, Super Bowl end. It's the end of summer.
Yeah.
And then spring starting when the Super Bowl's over, so it's a perfect time.
It is.
And it allows me to sit back and relax and unwind for the work week.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, Sundays are a good day for sure for that.
Well, anything else we got there?
We got a couple. Two left.
All right.
Home studios versus professional studios. Does it matter where you record your music?
Definitely matters where you record your music, but say my home studio, everything that I've put out was done in my studio except probably 2 songs. One was called Turn My Mic Up. Second one was called Vegas Life, Vegas Price.
Why the difference between home and just the quality?
You have a really good microphone and a decent a preamp that basically it's a combination of the microphone, a few of your pieces of equipment that go into the recording program. You want a nice, warm, organic, crisp sound, and then you tweak it from there, right? To tell you the truth, half of the stuff that's out there now are not being produced in big studios, right? It's the person that's putting it together and the person with the ear that makes it what it is, right? You can give a guy a Weber grill or a generic Superstore grill, right? And say, here you go, here's 2 pieces of meat. That grill's not, just because you threw it on that grill, it's not going to cook it better.
Exactly.
It's who's cooking it.
Yeah. For me, it's the content, right? Like, how good is that music? How good is that burger or whatever you want to cook with that? I think that is more important than.
It's the chef. It's the chef and the ingredients.
Yeah, not.
So home studio, like I make all my stuff at home. When I go to Las Vegas, I like.
Yeah, but your home is set up as a studio, right?
It is. But it's set up. Yeah, I mean, it's set up. It's set up the way it's
because
set.
It's home, but it's set up nice.
Yeah. Just because I don't have like this crazy vocal booth and like whatever. I made it to the best of what the space allows me to do, right? Whatever I've tried to improve has been good. I asked my friend, who goes by the name of the Stuntman, who got nominated for a Grammy a few years ago. They didn't win, but he got nominated for a Grammy for remastering. And I asked him, I go, hey, I want your honest opinion. I go, like, the way my stuff is coming out, what do you think? Like, should I change programs? What should I do? I was asking him, honestly, I'm like, no, I don't sugarcoat shit. Just tell me what I need to do. And he goes, it sounds great, man. He goes, just, you just got to keep on perfecting, the few little things here and there to your best ability, and you'll be fine, because it sounds good, right? So when I listen to my stuff, and then okay, I did this all in my own, you know, in my own crib, and then I'll listen to something else that's, you know, there's tricks out there, right? I'm still learning the tricks to make my stuff sound better. But same token, it sounds pretty damn good, in my opinion. And other people have said that too. So I'm not going to, you know, I'll just try to keep on getting better.
Same thing with us. When we first started, like, our equipment sucked. But, you know, when we were first doing it, we thought it was great.
Yeah.
And then it wasn't until we, you know, Dylan started learning other things, and then we realized, you know, the equipment doesn't work, or the sound, or something else, and then we just, you know, slowly upgraded, and we're continuing doing that. What's next, Dylan?
All right, last question. I'm a new DJ and do not have a big name. How do I get more DJ gigs like weddings, private events, nightclubs, restaurants, bar, etc. from DJ Rob?
So what you need to do is, this is what I did, okay? To get up, like, I mean, I was a local neighborhood DJ, and I was doing stuff for school and stuff like that.
Wait a minute, Dylan was not Dylan. Junior was well known in the city, even back then, man. You're. I was shy when I was a kid. Yeah. Today I'm a different beast. I get out. I talk to everyone. Yeah. You were like that from day one. Yeah. You were always talking. You were always walking around. You were always networking, right? So I think you had that.
It was there, definitely, in, like, especially where we grew up, right? I think what I had to do, like, to break into the actual market. Like, I did my first wedding for my friend's sister, like, when I was probably about, I think, 14, 15, like I said earlier. I can't remember how old I was, but it kind of just snowballed from there. But to break into the scene out here, downtown, other places, I mean, my mentor, the guy that I look up to, his name was DJ Zuli Z, and, like, I know I met him. I used to DJ at my local pub. I used to throw a hip-hop night there once a week, and I really wanted to get out, and, you know, I was just fresh. I think I was still 18. They let me DJ there. I don't know why, but anyways, I asked him. I'm like, hey man, I go, you know, whenever you want to go for a smoke break or want to take a 50-minute break, can I just play a set while you're chilling? And he was like, yeah, no problem, right? You know, so I'd only take, like, you know, like 10, 20 records, and I'd just go there, and
I like that.
The place was called the Viper Room, and, you know, it was like an old Asian gangster club or whatever it was, but I was just like, yo, I'm here, right? And I'd play, and I'm doing this little mix, and then I'd kind of look towards him, and he'd look at me, and he'd give me the nod. He was like, yeah, I like that, right? And then it just kind of kept on going from there. I'd ask people, hey, look, you know, can I play wherever, you know, like, is there any spots where, you know, you could use a DJ and stuff, you know, or I could DJ while you want to take a break or whatever. And that's kind of where it all started, man. I didn't make a nickel probably till, you know, 18 months in the nightclub scene, or whatever scene. Like, you know, it took some time,
because you're building the brand.
Yeah, and, you know, lo and behold, last weekend, me, Down Low, Stimulant J, GL14, and DJ Kid, all these guys that I DJ'd with from the late '90s, we all DJ'd together one night. Did 2 floors, and it was crazy because it was like nostalgia, right? Like, I mean, since my beginning, I DJ'd at Richards, on Richards Sonar. It was like, you know, it took a little time, but man, it was worth the wait, you know, because now I sit back, and now I do this with the young guys too that want to come with me.
What would you do differently today? You're starting off now. You're 18, 19, 14, whatever. Now with social media involved, you know, nightclub scene isn't as big anymore. It's more quiet lounges and more pubs and craft brewery places, live music. What would you do differently today to get your name out?
It doesn't. I mean, there's going. If you want to go back to, like, say, year 2000, for instance, there wasn't a shit ton of DJs like there is now. Every restaurant has a DJ. Every lounge has a DJ. Every pub has a DJ. Back then, there was not that many DJs. Right now, there's so many DJs. So to break out and get that type of success, if you want to call it that, you got to start young and build a fan base, right? Once you start young, build a fan base, people come to your gigs, come to your show. That's what happened with me. The day I knew I made it is when this guy, Garrett G-Man, who is one of the most successful entrepreneurs in the city, who I'll introduce you to, who you should have in this room with you, Garrett Louie. When I used to always go to the Club Sonar on Wednesday. It was the hottest hip hop night in the city. It was crazy. It was like 500 people every Wednesday.
Yeah, I met you there a few times.
Right, right. So I'd be like, I'd be like, yo, G-Man, man, when am I gonna get my chance? When am I get my chance? Right? Because I was doing things at that time, but that was like the holy grail, right? And he goes, okay, man. He goes, I got you. He goes, send me 100-person guest list, right? I went on the horn, called everybody and anybody that I knew supported me, and brought 100 people that night, and I was playing on the same stage as some of the world's best DJs even played there. And after that, I'm like, okay, it's good. I did it. Right?
Yeah, the brand, and then working for free in the beginning, and then eventually things just start working out. Perfect.
Yeah.
Brother, appreciate you coming out here. Actually, before you go, explain some of these two guests here.
Yeah, where people can find you and listen to you. And everything.
Yeah, so if you just search DJ 151 on any Apple Music, Spotify, this project moving forward is actually not a project. It's actually it's just a CD that showcases 2 EPs, Area Codes and 25. Area Codes is one of my best musical things I've ever done, just because one song on here called Streetlights, it's my best composition because it's got guitar, it's got singing, it's got rapping, it's got everything. Just go there and take a listen. This one is called No Borders. This one, I got to work with my idols, man. Rapid Forte, Be Legit, Selly Cell, Dub C, Rascas, Mad Child, Mercules. He's one of Vancouver's, premier artists, and Cannibalist, who's an amazing artist, a good friend of mine. It's all locals, with I'm trying to work with a lot of people, not just here but all over the place. And so just search it up and take a listen, and you might find something in the catalog that you might like. There's probably about 10, 25, it's about 32 songs in my catalog right now. So just take a listen. And there's tons of artists that I work with too. So if you just check out my Instagram, DJ 151 Band City, 151 Band City, peep it out. There's so many good artists out here that I'm working with that could use some more support. So
guys, if you're listening to this on podcast, go over to our YouTube channel. You can actually see No Borders, and also, what's this one called?
Area Codes
and 25.
And the original one is called The New Vintage, and that's also out there. That's the one I did first. So
perfect. Thanks, brother. Appreciate it, man.
Thank you, bro.
Thank you.
Always a pleasure.